Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and a very strange looking grid today full of castles, bridges and kingdoms that we have to discover. This is called Counting Castles, and it's by the incredibly inventive Marty Sears, probably one of the most inventive brains in the known universe. And I love the idea of this. I've flicked through the rules before I turned on the webcam, and we have to build sort of kingdoms in the grid, and each kingdom has a score representing how powerful it is. So we're going to find kingdoms in the grid, one of which is going to be very terrible, working our way up, all the way up to the most powerful kingdom. And how powerful a kingdom is dependent on how many castles live in its region and how many neighbouring kingdoms it borders. It's just a fascinating idea in a very strange colour, and this is going to be our job to do today. It's got 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty on Logic Masters Germany and something like a 100% approval rating. It is very popular and has some wonderful comments, so I know we're in for a good time, as ever with Marty Sears puzzles, basically. Now, before I read you the rules, what do I have to tell you about? Oh, there's 2 things. Yesterday I did have a chance to play Islands of Insight again, so I had a go at it for about 90 minutes, and I have recorded that solve. There were a number of solves. There were a lot of puzzles and a lot of wandering around, but if you do want to continue joining me on that journey, I will upload that to Patreon later today. Hopefully I should be able to. So yeah, there's a 90-minute bonus video on Patreon, more Islands of Insight for anyone interested. Also on Patreon, it is very nearly the closing date for the competition. The 20th, which is tomorrow, is the closing date. So if you're working on the last couple of puzzles, you haven't got long. And if you're stuck on the last couple of puzzles, a little hint: over on the Discord server there is a Patreon only chat channel where hints do get shared, so that might be a place to look. Good luck. And then what else? Birthdays. I've got some birthdays to do today. I will start with Albert. Albert, you've turned 54 today, and I know this because your partner Ember wrote to us and said you'd appreciate a shout out. So Albert, I hope your day is filled with enormous amounts of chocolate cake. Next, Quentin, it's your birthday today, and I know this because your partner Erin said that you'd like a shout out. So Quentin, I hope that you too have a chocolate cake filled birthday. And then finally, Sophie, it's your birthday today, and you've turned 22, and I know this because your partner Ben wrote to us and said that the two of you have basically recently discovered variant Sudoku, and now it's become a firm part of your nightly regime to sort of have a go at a puzzle and perhaps watch a video. So thank you very much for watching, and Sophie, I hope you have an absolutely brilliant day today with chocolate cake. Now, with all that talk of chocolate cake behind us, let us have a look at what Marty Sears has concocted. These are the rules of counting castles. We have to divide the grid into 9 kingdoms of orthogonally connected cells. Fill the grid with the digits 1 to 9 so that each digit appears once in each row, column and kingdom. So that we can sort of infer from that the kingdoms are going to have 9 cells in them. So let's draw a potential kingdom. How many cells is that? That's about right, isn't it? Let's draw that as a kingdom. So that might be a kingdom. And if it was a kingdom, this kingdom would have to have the digits 1 to 9, once each in it. Now, what else? A digit on a castle indicates exactly how many castles contain that digit. So this is a variation of the circles rule we've seen before, but this time using castles. So we're going to have to add up how many castles there are. Imagine that. Imagine we put a 5 in a castle there. Then that would tell us that there were 5 5s in castles. So we'd have to find some disposition of the remaining castles that could contain 5 5s. If there was a 4 in a castle, you'd have to make sure 4 castles had 4s in them, etc. Every kingdom has a score representing how powerful it is. It is calculated by adding the number of castles the kingdom contains to the number of neighbouring kingdoms it borders. Two kingdoms are considered neighbours if they share at least one orthogonal edge. So an orthogonal edge is basically a long edge. So if this was if this was a kingdom, and then this was a separate kingdom, and let's see if we can do the line tool. So let's say that was a border like that. These two do not border each other for the purposes of this kingdom rule. They have to actually share an edge. So imagine the red one went there. Now these two do border each other, and so that would increase the power of each kingdom. Marty, you are a unique individual. Now what else? There's a few more rules actually. A digit in a blue square. Gosh, that's going to confuse me as well, isn't it? The blue square. These blue squares look very like the cursor position to me. But anyway, the blue squares that are not the cursor, indicate the kingdom's score. And no two kingdoms have the same score. So that's quite interesting. There must be, I was going to say there must be a maximum of nine blue squares, and there are exactly 9. So in effect, this is an extra region of the Sudoku, because no two kingdoms can have the same score, and yet we'll have to use the digits 1 to 9 to fill the grid. So these digits must be the numbers 1 to 9 in some order. A bridge connects two digits in different kingdoms, and they will either sum to 5, sum to 10, or be in a 1 to 2 ratio. Good grief. So bridges, imagine that. I mean, this is actually there's quite a lot of options. Let's make this a 4. What can this be now? Well, it could be a 1, because 4 plus 1 is 5. It could be a 6, because 4 plus 6 is 10. It could be a 2, because 4 is double 2, so these two would be in a 2 to 1 ratio. And it could be an 8, because 8 is double 4, and that would work as well. So in fact, bridges are, they are quite flexible things. These are movable not movable bridges, but they can have a lot of options on them. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. The first thing I'm going to do actually is to delineate the borders that the bridges represent. So every bridge divides divides kingdoms, doesn't it? So we can, we could, if I wasn't inept at clicking, we could draw a whole load of things in. That's, okay. Some reason that looked to me like it was a strange cell, but it's just a castle in a blue cell. Castle in a blue cell. So the castle is the castles are like the circles, aren't they? So how many castles have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I will do that again just in case I've made a ricket there. No, it is 13. Okay, so 13 castles. Now that means that we have to divide the number 13, we have to sort of factorize it into. So for example, what do I mean by that? Well, I can tell you immediately that there is no way that there is a 9 in any castle, because if there was a 9 in any castle, there would need to be 9 9s in castles. There are only going to be 9 9s in the puzzle, and that means the 9 in this row should be in a castle, and it's not. So 8 is also not in a castle, because there's no possibility of having 8 8s in castles, because the 8 in column 8 and the 8 in column 9. In fact, 7 doesn't work either for exactly the same reason. So again, if there was a 7 in a castle, there would be 7 7s in castles, and yet only the first 6 columns, only the 7s that exist in the first 6 columns, and there would only be 1 in each column, could be castled. So the 3 7s that would be in columns 7, 8 and 9 would be uncastled, and so you couldn't put 7 7s in castles. Now what about 6? Well, 6 looks possible at first blush. Yeah, 1, Oh, maybe not actually. Hang on. Sort of a great big jellyfish type arrangement, isn't it? Have I done it there or not? No, I'd have to move that one around. I don't know actually. I don't know whether 6 is possible. I mean, it's certainly true to say that there are 6. There are 6 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there are 7 rows actually that have castles in them. I'm just struggling to find a particular, a unique way of doing this, but there probably is one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't. I'm struggling here. Am I just? It's like it's yeah. But because the problem is that when you start picking digits, you're ruling out other castles from containing that digit because of Sudoku. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's also that the blue thing is really distracting me. I haven't put any in this column, I don't think. 5, maybe that. I'm going to actually have to change their colours. Right. Oh no, I've got 2 in the same row there, so that doesn't work. Sorry. I'm not sure. Might have to come back to this if I get stuck, because I haven't found a combination that works here. But there could be one. What about that? Maybe that's one that could work. Yeah, there we go. There is one. Okay. Well, there's at least one. Gosh, I'm glad I didn't assume 6 couldn't be in a castle. Therefore. Right, okay, so 6 can be in a castle, although it might be quite restricted for it to be in a castle. And if 6 was in a castle, there would be 6 sixes in castles. So 6 of these 13 castles would have 6 in, which means the other 7 would have to have digits that sum to 7 in those. Right, and that would have to be the numbers 1, 2 and 4. Because there are definitely 4 different digits in castles, in row 4 for example, and indeed in column 3. So what we couldn't have is, say, 6 sixes in castles, a 4 in a castle and a 3 in a castle. Because although those numbers do add up to 13, they are not 4 different numbers, so they couldn't occupy the 4 castles that exist in row 4. There would be another number that would have to go into a castle, and once that other number went into a castle, they would no longer add up to 13 anymore. So if 6 is in a castle, 1, 2 and 4 must be the digits that go in the castles as well. But it might not be the case that 6 is in a castle, because it's so difficult for 6 to be in a castle. And if 6 wasn't in a castle, then 5 would have to be in a castle. Because if 5 was not in a castle, the only numbers then available for castles would be 4, 3, 2 and 1, and they don't add up. They only add up to 10, they don't add up to 13. So 5 would have to be in a castle, and then 3 more digits that add up to 8, which don't include 5. So 1, 3, 4. So 1, 3, 4, 5 is one option for castles. 1, 3, 4. I'm just going to write it in the corner. 1, 3, 4, 5. What was the other one? 6 and something. 6, 1, 1, 2, 4. So 1 and 4 are always in castles. Yeah, I see. Right, so 1, in fact I'm going to just restore that. I'm just going to leave these here as an aide-memoire, but this is interesting, because we've worked out that 1 and 4 are always in castles, but there's only one castled 1. Because wherever we put the 1, if we put it there, that's the only one that can be in castles. Yet look here, there are 4 different digits in row 4 and 4 different digits in row 3. So there must be a 1 in one of these squares, and there must be a 1 in one of these squares, and it's the only one that is castled. So that is a 1. That's the first digit that we've managed to earn. Now, what does that mean? So I don't really want to pencil mark all the other castles with all the other options, which are 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a horrible pencil mark. Oh. No, I don't. Well, I've had a quick look at it. I can't see how to do anything with it. I suspect what we have to do now is to try and work out where the sort of kingdoms grow. Maybe this square. I'm wondering this square maybe over here. The difficulty with this square is it doesn't say in the, I don't think it said in the rules that the bridges always connect to a different region. So it's not necessarily the case that all those 3 are different regions. I mean, they're different to this region, but they could all be the same region. If there was a region that did that, I mean, it's a very different thing. If this region is different from this region, is different from this region, is different from this region, then I could well imagine. Oh, hang on. The other thought was that we have to make sure every blue square is in a different region, don't we? So oh, sorry, I'm not getting this at all. I don't understand how I'm even going to start this puzzle. I'm going to reread the rules. Every king, oh yeah, so the kingdoms all have scores. So these are the numbers. Oh, so the kingdom that is the weakest kingdom is going to have a 1 in its blue square. None of these can be 1. Yeah, actually that's interesting. So the kingdom that has 1 in its square has no castles in it. That must be right, because yeah, that is right. That is right. However I draw any kingdom in this puzzle, imagine, yeah, what's the least number of borders a kingdom could have? Well, I guess it would be something like this, wouldn't it? That green kingdom there. That green kingdom has 1 border. Now, yeah, so there's got to be something like that in this puzzle, because the blue square that has 1 in it will border another region, but can only border exactly one other region and cannot have any castles in it. Now, the slightly complicated thing here is that it doesn't need to be a stripe, because I think it could be something like that, and then that could be bounded like that, couldn't it? That would also be reasonable. The green region there is not too big. There probably are some shapes, though, that you can't have. What about 5? Ignore all the boundaries here. 5 and 4. Any region, given that we can only have 1 colour orthogonally adjacent to this green region, yeah, the purple would be far too big. It's already got 11 cells in it, and it's not even joined up yet. So actually, we're going to have to find, right, so we basically have to hunt in the grid. What about down here? No, that doesn't work. I was trying to visualize in the grid where I can draw a kingdom that has 9 cells in it, that can only have one border and no castles, and that looked like a prime candidate. But that's wrong, because this colour would have to be the same as all of those colours, and that's 9 cells already, and this would be a 10th cell in the region, so that is not that. The thing is, this could be quite tricky though. Maybe what we could do, just to help me visualize it, is just to blacken out entirely those squares. So we are not allowed, this region that we're building that has one border, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. You see, is what I'm about to say true? Is it true to say it must be true to say you must have to use the boundaries of the grid to protect this kingdom from having too many neighbours? Because even if I don't think you can draw a more efficient shape than a 3x3, can you? In terms of keeping the number of, I mean, if this was a 3x3, you could have a 3 here, a 3 here, and a 3 here. And it would only take 9 cells to bound it, although the purple couldn't exist because it would have to take those 2 cells to be orthogonally connected. But anything else here, if it was that shape, it's worse. It's much worse. Well, not much worse, but it's definitely worse than a 3x3. But it works quite well in the corner, because you've got 2 borders that sort of protect the edges, where the region that bounds this doesn't have to worry about the north and the east sides now. It just has to frame this, which is definitely possible. Oh no, that's nonsense. This is tricky. What about here? What about if we drew... It is tricky. Oh, I know. No, I don't know. This is tricky. This makes it tricky. We could draw that. It's also tricky because this might not be what we're meant to do. It feels to me like a Marty type idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'd have to grow this by 2 more. Not overlapping another purple, another blue square. What about that, and then you draw that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, that doesn't work. Because this one couldn't be the same colour. What about... This is really difficult. It's really difficult it's definitely very difficult, I think, to prove uniquely. I mean, I haven't found one shape that works yet. But even if I did, how would I know it was a unique shape? This one, I don't know. I mean, I know it can't take that one if it took those. You could have one border only. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, it's difficult. It's really difficult, actually. Let me reread all the rules. Every kingdom has a score. Yeah, I understand that rule. A digit in a blue square indicates the kingdom's score. No two kingdoms have the same score. So, I mean, I suppose by the same token, one kingdom. But one kingdom could just have loads of castles in it. And a bridge connects things to anything. No, I don't like this. I think it is to do with working out which kingdom can be a 1. And I wonder if, well, okay, if I'm right that we have to share, you have to use the corners of the grid to shield. Yeah, I mean, that probably is reasonable, isn't it? So if it's a fair argument to say that because the most efficient shape, the most compact way you could draw a kingdom would be a 3 by 3, and even that is too big if it is not in the corner, because you couldn't enclose, you could enclose it on 3 sides with the same colour and only use 9 cells, but those colours could not then join together. So this does not work. So if it is true to say that you must use a corner of the grid, then at least we could rule this cell out, because that cell in growing is going to hit a castle, and it's not allowed to. So it's got to be another corner of the grid that is the region that contains a blue square with a 1 in it. Now, if that was here, then we can see immediately this would be in a different thingy. So we've got to go out like this, like this. We've got to keep hugging this now with red. And this has got to get to a square that can have a 1 in it. So, I mean, it looks to me like it's going to have to be that one. So maybe something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could have those two. So try and keep it compact so that we can ring it with the red one. 1, 2. So we've still got to grow by 1 more. And in doing that, are we going to break the world? I bet you we are, you know. Because at this point, we've been very efficient with how we've packed this blue thing in. We've used 8 cells. Now if we were to ring just 8 cells with red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But this isn't big enough yet. So it's going to take more than 9 to ring it. And we've already sort of thought about what happens if we go, you know, if we make what I'll call a less efficient shape. Because this doesn't have, you know, we've stretched this so far that once we have to rinky-dink around that, we're going to be way over way over 9 cells for red. Yeah, okay, so what I'm starting to feel is that the way we have to do this, I don't think this corner works. It's either going to be this corner or this corner. Don't know, don't have any feel at all for which one of those is correct. Haven't managed to make one work in either. But we want some sort of efficient shape. And by efficient shape, I want to say something like that. Now I can see that doesn't work, but well, let's just imagine that these bridges weren't here. Then it would work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We did it. Because we made this, we packed this in. But here it's difficult because we can't change. These two cannot both be. So we're looking at this square. These two. So we can't take. Well, the only way we could take those two with red is if we take that one as well. But that doesn't work because these two would be different. Oh, no, actually that might work. No, that doesn't work. That just totally doesn't work. I don't think we can take that. And therefore, I don't. We could take one of these two. No, it's still hot. This is still difficult. It's difficult, actually. It really is difficult. Maybe this one we can't be efficient. I keep changing my mind. So if we did that, can I make something that comes round the corner here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can add 2 more cells to this. I just don't think it's going to work. If I do that, I think I'm going to use too many cells. 5. Yeah, I used too many. So how? Maybe this is just it. Maybe it's this one, but I can't see how to do it here, and it's infuriating me. In fact, I can't use that cell at all, can I? Because if that is in this one, oh, maybe that's a good thought. If this one is what takes the corner cell here, then it should have a 1 in it. So I actually have to build it without. Oh, I've had another idea. I could take that one. Oh, that's a good idea. What about that? And then this loops round. So that's 7. I can't take this one, so I have to take that one. Right, I bet that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's nowhere near, actually. It's nowhere near, even though I thought I had a good idea about sort of creating a U pentomino around this. It's not even close. That's interesting, though, because if I did take that one, I bet that works. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Aha, look at that. That would work. So what stops this working is that position of the blue thing. And that looks deliberate. Wow. Okay, so I'm more convinced than I was that there must be something we can do with this corner, which is going to allow us to. So we've got to draw a 9-cell kingdom, and actually it can't overlap with this, but it's going to grow here or here. So this is the other colour that must bound the entirety of this. And we can't bump into. Yes, you can I'm starting to see this now, because actually, given that this is in the kingdom we're interested in, look, we can actually. I'll draw it with red. We can draw a lot of stuff that this cannot. It can't take any castles. It can't take any blue squares, any more blue squares. It's already got its blue square. And purple is going to have to bound it. And purple is itself in a blue square. So there's no way red can come round the top here, because then purple would have to go all the way around here. So I think red's probably got to run along the top of the grid. Now, purple now. Do we think red goes there? If red goes there, that has to be purple. Maybe I should just paint something in and just see what the count is on purple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe that one is more efficient. So that's 9 cells of red, and that would require purple to definitely take all of those squares. So that's not 9, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, it is 9 once I close it. So that works. But I suspect there are other ways of doing it, unfortunately. But at least we found one way that works. So what about, so that went, can we take that square with red? If we take that square, then purple has to take this square and this square. So those would both be purple. Purple has to close, and this has to get bigger still. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got to get bigger by 3. I don't know whether I think this has to be red, or I think probably I prefer that not to be red to try and be efficient. So maybe we do that. So red is now core 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That doesn't work. But that's the thing is, that's not an exhaustive proof. What if I do that? No, that's less efficient, isn't it? Because then I have to have an extra cell here. So I think by the time this grows by 2 more, this is going to be enormously big. Okay, so I'm fairly convinced this is not red. Does that actually matter? What about that one? If that's not red, that's purple. I'm struggling to do this in a way that I'm very confident is unique. If we do this, the most efficient we could pack would be here. But we have to still take one more. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, this is the same thing we discovered down here. This doesn't work, this sort of packing, because this has to be 9 cells at this point without red growing anymore. And once red grows again, we won't be able to enclose it with purple. Right, so if that's true, that is red. And we worked out that wasn't red, so I'm going to say that that has to be purple, and then for it, that has to be purple. And now the only way we can be efficient is that. Because that packs the remaining reds into the smallest area in terms of how we can enclose them. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that does allow us to draw a purple. So I think that is probably the only way of doing this. But that is very complicated. That's very complicated, and it just troubles me slightly, because if I've missed an option, I know that that's what the comments will say. You didn't consider this. I feel, yeah, I mean, I think I did that as rigorously as I'm likely to be able to do it in a video. If it's wrong, we will discover it's wrong, won't we? Because we will hit an impasse at some point. It felt reasonable, but it does rely on a bit of intuition about how you have to pack the shapes. I think we have to pack them, I think 2 things. Firstly, we have to use an edge, we have to use a corner. Secondly, when we're packing the shapes, we have to really try to pack them, because if we don't, we won't be able to enclose it within 9 cells of what is in this instance the purple region. So if we proceed on this basis, we can now, we've now drawn two regions into the grid, because that is a region, and that is 9 cells of another region. Now what I should do is get rid of my castles in black, and we will find. So our castle. My phone's going nuts. Right, now, what does this mean? Right, well, that means we get a digit. That is a 1 in the corner, isn't it? Because that's what we worked out. And this, well, no, we don't know, because this one, it depends how many borders there are. And there are several borders, in fact. Look at this. So this purple region has got 2 castles in it. It's got a red border at the top. Those are 3 different colours. I think they are 3 different colours. Because I can't see how I could make that one the same colour as that one. Because I'd have to ring a 9-cell region in the middle, and that's impossible. So that's 3 different colours. 4. Well, those have to be different. No, they're both squares things, so they can't be in the same region. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, possibly 7. I think that might have to be a 9. I'm not totally sure, because I can't. I'm not totally sure. You know, is it possible? It seems very difficult to me that region there could join up to something else around those edges. I'm not seeing how that's possible at first blush, which would make this a 9, but I don't trust that, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, so what on earth do we do now? I don't know. Why have I got green? Oh, that's an anachronism, isn't it? That's left over from when we were exploring. In fact, what I could do to make myself feel like I'm making progress, I will bound the bound Middle Earth with a black line. There we go. And we're going to build the kingdoms. So what have we discovered so far? This could be Mordor. This is Gondor. This is Minas Tirith. Now, what now? What now is a good question. I'm really struggling with this puzzle. Those 2 have to be in the same colour. These 2 have to be in the same colour. These have to be in different colours. These, I think all 3 of those are different colours. I think all 3 of these are different colours. How many? We can only have 9 different colours in the puzzle, can't we? So hang on. If that was a 9, then what we're saying is that this purple one borders 7 regions. It itself would be an 8th region. So there would only be 1 other region in the puzzle that didn't touch the purple region. That would be interesting. Although, actually, I say that. I don't think it would be that interesting. Well, not at this point. I don't think that doesn't feel like the next deduction, now I think about it, because I can't see what that's going to do. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That one probably joins to that one, probably. No, that might be wrong. No. Yeah, that might be worth thinking about. Let's have a go at thinking about what this joins to from a blue square perspective, because I don't think it can join to that one. Because, well, yeah, all three of those are definitely not this colour. So if this goes north, it will bump into that before it bumps into that. So the question is, if it goes south, can it get to a... It can't get to a blue square, I don't think, actually. Now I've drawn those black squares in to bound it. That's helped me to see what's going on, because I'm going to have to take that square, because otherwise that square's isolated. And now I've already hit a count of 6. I've got 3 more cells to go. And even if I went with maximum efficiency that way, I clearly cut the bridge off. And that's, what is it? The Brandywine Bridge or something? Is that the Brandywine Bridge? Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. And that's quite good, because that means I can at least draw in a bit of this shape. And that's it. Right, okay, so now we better get rid of these black cells, because this shape here, no, yellow's not the best colour. Maybe orange will work a bit better. Or blue. Actually, I haven't had you blue. Blue, I've not used blue. Right, so blue, that could be blue. Blue has to come out. I don't know whether blue goes there. But we can start to draw in what that looks like. Yeah, okay, so green can only take one more cell up here, look. It could take that one, but it can't bump into blue, and it can't bump into another blue square. So green has to take that square, and we know it doesn't take this square, so it must take that square, which means it does go into the corner. And now I've almost built the whole of green. I almost have. Right, now look at blue. How is that growing? And the answer is, I don't know. I don't know much, but I do know it's taking this square. Because if it goes north, it will have to turn into this square, but there's a bridge. So that's not allowed, so it definitely goes there. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. I am aware this one still has to get a blue square in it, but I think it's got a few options. That one probably. That one definitely. That one maybe. That's something else, isn't it? But we don't know whether that's blue or some other new colour. Wow, I don't know what to do. Green has got 3 castles in it. So this digit is at least 5, I'm going to claim. Because it's got 3 castles at least. It could get a 4th castle there. But it's got at least 3 castles. And it sees purple, blue. I don't know if blue can frame it exactly. That would be ironic if that was possible. But yeah, so I think that's at least 5. That's a very dreadful pencil mark. Okay. This is tricky. This is a tricky puzzle. It's not easy. I'd say it's not easy to solve this in what I'd call a linear way. There's probably, of quite a narrow path to doing this. But finding the logic from step to step is really eluding me. That's not green. Oh, I was trying to update my graphics driver. Not now. If blue goes up, blue, it can take 2 more, so it has to take at least 4 more from this neck of the woods. So, have we got Fangorn Forest down here, or Mirkwood, and where are they? Or am I meant to be... It's not Sudoku with 1 or something, is it? I don't think it can be. Oh, it's not these. Do I know what the... I don't know what these are. I dispute that. I don't know what they are. I don't think I do, anyway. I don't know what to... I really am stuck. I suppose I can't put more than 4 castles into any one region, because we know it's just 4 different numbers in castles. So I have to probably be a bit careful with that. So I could have 1 more castle in green. So if I had that in green... oh, actually no, green's nearly complete. Green is 8 at the moment, so I've only got 1 more cell of green. And I know it's not this one, don't I? So green's final cell is either that one or that one. Now, which of those do we think is more likely? And the answer is, I haven't got a Scooby-Doo. Is there... Wow, I don't know quite how to think about this, I have to say. We could do... Maybe I do have to go back to thinking about the count of purple. So purple at the moment is on a count of 2, 3 once this gets a colour, 4 once that gets a colour, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think it is a reasonable argument. What I'm saying is, I don't think it's possible to say have a region here. Let's build a region here somehow. I mean, it's got to be 9 cells as well. I mean, it's just impossible. And then have this be the same colour as that. It's just not going to work, is it? Now, if that's fair, I'm going to claim that this is a 9 because it's got 2 castles in it. It sees red, so I think it sees 7 different colours on its borders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think that is a 9. Now, if that's logical, that's not 9. So we have to have a relatively... This is 5, 6, 7 or 8. So if green took this one, let's just have a look at that. Then this is a different colour to blue. So we're going to have 4 castles, 5, 6. But then blue could just come all the way down there, so that could be a 6. But it doesn't have to be a 6, or at least I don't think it does. So there must be some other way of doing this. I don't know what it is. Maybe I've got to build up here instead of here. I'll try that. Grey. Okay, so that's grey, that's grey. This, yeah, okay. I'm going to be able to build something down this side, aren't I? Because that grey has to get out. I'm now realising that orange has to get out. That grey's still got to get out. So that grey is picking up this one. This is something new, which is a colour we don't have on the board yet. So we do need to give this a colour. Now, I probably make it green again on the basis it definitely won't bump into this one. At least I don't think it will. So orange gets out, grey gets out, orange gets out again, green gets out again because it's delineated by this bridge here. And we get a little bit further in the puzzle. Now, how many greys have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need at least one more. Well, actually we're going, oh, I see, I didn't realise. Look, I've actually got grey built. Grey has been built. Now, what's that number then? Because that's not got any castles in it. Right, well, at the moment it sees purple and it sees orange. So it's 2 or very few more, 3 or 4. To be 4, this would have to be different from this, would have to be different from this. If I could get green to drop one more down, then orange would go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So orange can enclose this. Orange can make this have to be a 2. Oh, I hope that's not the next deduction. That I have to work out, having done all that business with working out where 1 is, to find that there was a similar deduction you could make. You know, this is the only 2 in the grid that's possible. Because that feels horrible to try and work that out. Oh, that's that way madness lies, I think. Okay, so have I actually advanced my cause at all here? I know that's some new colour, but I don't know what colour it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 2 more colours to be identified. But that could be blue. But if that was blue, these would not be blue or green. So that's at least 8 colours then. Can this just all nest into itself? Like if that does that and then that goes around the edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's probably quite likely, isn't it? That does that. And then this one does that. We're just left with trying to work out what on earth's going on in the middle. I've got to put a 1 into green somewhere. So that's either going to be this one, or it's going to be a 1 here. That's quite... It's most likely to be here, isn't it? Why can't that be a 1 in green? I don't know. Wow. Wow, what on earth am I meant to do here? Oh, here's another thought. Here's a different thought. Here is a better thought. Okay, I've had a different idea. I'm going to go down a totally different track now. Let's make this yellow for a moment. Now, this has to get out. But what do I mean by that? It is a blue squared digit. So the kingdom that that's part of is 9 cells large, but mustn't bump into other blue squares. And I'm just wondering... yeah. Okay, so I can prove this is blue. Because if this was not if this was not blue, this blue, how would it grow? It would come here, here, definitely. It's not even remotely reached 9 squares. This is now a different colour to it because of the bridge here. So this has to start coming out. Let's make it red. It's got to keep coming out. And now this has got nowhere to go. I mean, it's actually that simple, isn't it? It can't bump into this. It can't cross bridges. So actually this has always been blue. And therefore, it must come this way. So that is not the one that we were looking for in green. So actually we get to draw that in, and that means the final cell... Oh, why can't that be a 1? Sorry, I didn't even think of that. 4. That's weird. My brain is weird. That can be a 1. Because that could be a 9 or a 4. What are the other things we could have? Oh, yeah, we can have double 1 for 2. So that's possible. Sorry, that can be a 1. But we can now... This is not allowed to be green because of this bridge. So that is green. And that sort of comb shape. Frodo's comb there. This could be the Shire. We have found the Shire. There is a 1 in the Shire in one of those two positions. I almost like it to be here because I suppose these have to be different in the same region. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in blue. So I think this green region now is going to see more regions because that square can't be blue. Because if it was, that would have to be blue and we get 10 cells in blue. So that square I'll make red again. And although, let's bear in mind, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it definitely can't join to that actually. Right. So how many colours have I got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. 6, 7, 8. All right. Now we've got this one here. Now is that one different from this one? Not sure. If it was the same, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, I don't think it can be. I don't think that's... Because this is clearly not blue. And it clearly isn't green either. Because green can't enclose another region here. These probably have to be the same. But let's say they weren't the same. And that was we were trying to make this the same colour as this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It doesn't work. So I think... There's something here that's a different colour, and that's all the colours we found. So, what does that mean? I think I've got to give these their own colour then. Let's make those yellow in the absence of anything particularly more chromatically acceptable. These can't be different. They can't be because this can't reach red. These must be the same because we can't enclose it. We couldn't like make this orange and this something new because to surround it this would be too big. So what does that mean? So it means that every cell that we haven't yet allocated in the puzzle is joined to a colour we have now identified in the puzzle because we have 9 colours in the puzzle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. So for example, this has to join up. Oh, it could be red. Yeah, I was getting carried away with my idea that the green was nesting in here. It may even, no, it probably can't be yellow because I can't think that green could grow big enough. That probably has to be yellow. Oh no, could that be red actually? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's probably right. Look at that. That leaves blue to have 9 cells behind it. Yellow can get out. Yellow probably picks that up. And then green can nest and orange can nest. So that's probably the solution that we have to get towards at some point. This being red. Now, what colour is that? Is it possible that that is not blue or red? Could it be somehow be yellow? No. If it's anything other than blue or red, it's going to cut red off in getting out. So that is blue or red. So that's blue or red. And that's going to be the same for this square, isn't it? If that was, say, yellow, for example, it'd go, oh no, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Yeah, it's no good. There's no way that that's not blue or red, because if it isn't, it goes out here. It mustn't cut this off. So it has to go up here. And now blue is really troubled because it's only got 7 cells. So it has to go there and then it's going to bump into that one. So actually, that square is also blue or red. And now I can get a count on this one. Green is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Green is 6. That is 6. Now, what does that mean? Well, that is important, right? That is important for our castles. Now, 1, 2, 4, 6 doesn't work because I can't fill those in to the castles in row 4. So we're not dealing with 1, 2, 4, 6. We're dealing with 1, 3, 4, 5. So these are a 3, 4, 5 triple. And everywhere else, every castle is 3, 4, or 5 now. Because it has to be, because we can't reuse the 1. So now, so now that's not 1. So our original thought was that this was 1, and it is a 1. This is 3, 4, or 5. 5's going to be, well, is it? I was going to say 5's going to be difficult. Maybe 5 is just impossible, actually. Because I was thinking if this was blue, there would have to be three valid accomplices for whatever digit we put in here. Now 3 and 4 I think do have 3 valid accomplices, because 3 could go with 7, with 2, and with 6. 4's got loads of accomplices. It could go with 2, 8, 6, or 1. But 5 is difficult, because 5 can't be with a cell that adds up to 5. It can't be with a digit that adds up to 10. And it can't be a double or a halfer. So in fact, 5 can never go on a bridge. Is that what I've just proved? There is literally no option. Yeah, 5 can't go on a bridge at all. So any bridges that have 5s on them, we can just take them out, take the 5 out as an option. It can't go there. Which is actually getting rid of loads of cells. So now I've got a 3, 4 pair in column thingy, column 3. So that's a 5. That's right, and now that's not a 5 by Sudoku, so that's a 3, 4 pair in green. That's a 5. This is a 3, 4 pair. That's a 2. Right, that's huge. That is a 2 by Sudoku, and that means that the 2 colours that border this region are all of the borders that they see. So it's seen purple and it's seen orange. So these squares have to either be purple or orange, and they can only be orange because purple is finished. And that completes a sort of snaky version of another region. Oh, now. Well, do we know what that number is now? That's also got no castles in it. It sees purple, it sees grey, it sees green. So if green does nest into it, that's 3. But it needn't, because we looked at the option where red came along the bottom. It's probably quite a low number. These digits are 7, 8, and 9. And that's quite a big number. It can't be 9. We've already had 9 in a blue thingy. There's a 3, 4 pair in column 6, so that's a 5. And we've got, right, hang on. We've got to have 5 5s in castles. At the moment, I've got 3. And I have the opportunity for this to be 1, and I have the opportunity for that to be 1. Well, they both must be then, because I need 5 altogether. Now, by the same token, I need... Yes, right. I need 4 4s. Now, one of those is a 4, one of those is a 4, and I can't put 2 4s in green, so there's 1 4 in green, so that's 3 4s. So the odd one out has to be a 4 there. That disambiguates these. Right, so that's 8, because 8 can't go next to 7 on a bridge. Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. 7 works there. 7 can go with 3. 8 and 9 can't. So that's 9. And we've done a row of the puzzle. Oh, 9 is almost restricted in row 3 by sort of law of leftovers. 9 can't repeat in purple, so it's got 2 possible positions, but they're both in different kingdoms, so better be a bit careful. Now, well, I'm feeling better because I feel like we're actually doing some steps now. I could label these up, but 4 I think had an astronomical number of options. I suppose I should do it. So 4 can go with 1, 2, 6, 8, and I'm probably missing one. Not sure what I'm missing there, but I think it's at least those options. That can't be 1 by Sudoku. Now, what on earth do we look at now? What did I think? I thought this was going to be red, didn't I? Red has red got a blue square in it yet? I think not. So red down here has to get a blue square, and it's probably this one is our thinking. Also, blue has to have a lot of castles in it and a lot of borders in it. How many? Okay. So at the moment, blue has definite 2 castles. So if it only had 2 castles, so if this wasn't blue, because it can't have that castle, can it? Oh, maybe it could get that castle. Yeah, it could get that castle, probably. No, actually that doesn't work. It pens in yellow. Okay, so it can't get that castle. It can't have that castle because it's already got a blue square. So if blue doesn't get this castle, blue has to have a lot of borders then, because it's got 2 castles in it. So it has to have 6 borders. See, 6 different colours. And it itself is the 7th colour. So if I can prove that there are 3... Yeah, I can. Okay, so this is impossible. It's impossible for this not to be blue. Because this blue region definitely doesn't see that red region. It definitely doesn't see that grey region. It definitely doesn't see that orange region. So the maximum number of, and it is itself a region, so the maximum number of borders it can have is 5. And plus 6 plus 7 is not equal to 8. So I think that has to be a castle, a blue castle, which means both of those squares are blue. It might well need that one as well, but at least that's a little bit of extra deduction. Bobbins, I don't know. I'm not sure. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7. Unsure about this one. I mean, it's actually quite difficult for me to believe this isn't blue. If we think about that logic we've just done again and say, okay, well, how does blue touch that green region? I mean, it could perhaps do it. Maybe. So that's 7, 8, 9. And then green. I don't actually see how that's possible. How this region growing by 1 square. No, it could grow by 2 squares actually. Well, how does it do that? Oh, in fact, how does it grow at all? Oh, that's okay. So now, yeah, hang on, I haven't seen this. But blue is 7 at the moment. So there's 2 more cells to go. If it didn't take this cell, it has to take that cell. And where's its next cell after that? Can't go there and it can't go there. So actually blue does take this square, which means red has to come along the bottom. So now, what does that mean? I don't know. This is a long video again, isn't it? Sorry, I apologise to those of you who prefer shorter videos. I mean, it's a fascinating puzzle, though. It's absolutely brilliant, but it's not. I'm finding it difficult, I have to confess. I want this to be red, don't I? I want this red to bend round here, like something like that, I think is what red is going to do. How do I prove that that's necessary now? Red would have a 5 circle in it. A 5 castle in it. So it would have to have 4 borders. And it would have a border with yellow, it would have a border with blue, it would have a border with green, it would need 1 more border, and it probably would have it with maybe this green here. So that's very likely, I think. Now, do we know which shape takes this blue square? See, on that hypothesis, it's going to be this one, isn't it? Okay, here's a question. Which shape takes this square? It can't be yellow, because green will be penned in. And it won't be able to reach its size. So this is not yellow, it's definitely not blue, it's definitely not red, is it? I say it's definitely not red, I don't think it's red. And maybe it could be red. No, but there's nothing going to isolate that. Yeah, it is. If that's red, there is effectively somehow in the puzzle a wall of red going from here to here. And it pens off this, which would also have to be red, and then red couldn't get there. So I think that is green. So now yellow is going to pick up a 5, isn't it? because yellow either, a castled 5 I mean, because yellow either comes through there or it goes through there. One of those things is true. Right, okay, that's fairly straightforward at last. Yellow does not go through there. Because if it goes through there, that's its blue circle digit, and it's 5, and it's already got 3 castles in it, which means it only must have 2 borders, and I can already see it's got 3 borders, so that's not going to work. So yellow doesn't go through this square, and this can't be blue, it's too far away. It can't be green because it'll block yellow in, so that is red, which is what we were trying to prove before. So yellow comes down this little alleyway and goes in there, which means green comes down here. Now what does that mean for this one? Well, yellow's still got to get a blue square, so that's going to be that one. Red, how does red connect? It can't come round the back of yellow now. This is yellow, so red goes up there, which means blue needs to get that square to complete, which means that's red. So blue has suddenly finished itself off. And let's check the count. So we've got... Well, it's not going to matter because these are either yellow or red, which are both already seen by blue. So we're not going to... But well, we should still check it works, shouldn't we? 1, 2, 3, 4 castles. 1, 2, 3, 4 borders. So 8 is correct. Right. So which shape now can get to that point? It's not yellow, it's not red. They're both too big. So this is green. And green is finished. And we can... No, we can't. We don't know what this number is. Oh, we know what that number is. That number is 3. Because we see green, we see grey, we see purple, and there are no castles. Okay. That's yellow by a process of elimination. Red needs... Yeah, red needs 2 more. It's ambiguous. Oh no, it's going to be ambiguous at the end. I suppose... Right, what we better work out the count of green. Green sees purple, yellow, orange. So at the moment it's on a count of 3. So it has to see red, otherwise it's the same as this. That's really clever. That's really clever setting. So that is how you do this last disambiguation. So red didn't go there in the end. But because we need another colour to touch this one. 1, 2, 3. I think that's right. I think that has to be red and those have to be yellow therefore. And finally we have built the kingdoms. After a great deal of angst. That was angst with a T. So that is now 4. So in terms of blue circles, I've got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, an 8, 9. So that should be 7. Oh, goodness me. 1, 2, 3. And how many borders does the yellow have? Oh... It needs to have 4. 1, 2, 3. It does have 4. Oh, and that's on a boundary. 7 is difficult to put on a bridge, so that's going to be 3. Okay. Oh, and there's a 4 here, so that's going to be 3. So that's a 4 by Sudoku. That's a 4 by Sudoku, and that's a 3 by Sudoku. Right, so we know 4 goes next to 1s, 2s, 6s or 8s. Are there any more bridges with 4s on? I can't see. But also 3s now we need to work out what they can go next to. So they can go next to 2. They can go next to 6. They can go next to 7. Can they go next to anything else? I don't think so. So 2, 6, 7, and 6, look, must go there by Sudoku. And blue is nearly finished. That's a 9, which must go across from a 1 on a bridge. So there's a little bit of extra work we could do there. We've nearly finished column 2. We need 4s, 5s, and 8s. So let's pencil mark those in and see if we can do them. That's not 4 at the top. That's not 5 or 4, because it sees that one round the corner. So that's 8. So that's not 8. That's 5. That's 4 at the bottom. That's on a bridge, which we know goes with 1, 2, 6, or 8. 1, 2, 6, or 8. That's not 1 in the corner. What I will be very pleased with is if this irregular Sudoku, which is I think what we've been left with, is quite easy to do. I will be so pleased about that. 3, where's 3 in purple? It can't go there by Sudoku, so it's got to go here. Because I always think with a puzzle like this, you know, if you're left with, if you've had to do a lot of thinking to get to this point, the reward should be a nice irregular Sudoku, not a horrible irregular Sudoku. Okay, I can't see what to do now. What about this column? We've nearly done it. We just need 2s, 7s, 8s, and 9s. So let's pencil mark that in. 2, 7, 8, 9. That's not 8 or 9 because of this. That's not 9. That we don't know about. That one we don't know. Oh, bother, that didn't work at all. That did not work at all. Right. Okay, now I don't know where to look. We could look at see, it's things like law of leftovers. Those 2 digits have to appear in column 9 somewhere, so they're the same as those, which means they are separated by a bridge. So that digit is 2, 6, 8, or 9. So one of these is 2, 6, 8, or 9. 9 is not going to work. 9's only got the option of being 1 by the rule. 2 doesn't work because there's a 2 in the column. So that is 6 or 8 only. And it goes in one of those. Now, I think 8 doesn't work because there would have to be 2 valid options for it. Now 8 can go with 4 because 4 is half 8, but the only other thing it can go with is 2 to make 10, and 2 is not available, so I think that might be 6. Now these squares now are 2, 8, and 9. Let's pencil mark it. That's not 9. It doesn't do anything. And 6 has to be surrounded by 3 on one side and 4 on the other. Right, and there's a 4 there. Oh, well, that's 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. And that's going to be great because these are the 2 digits that have to go up there. So we get a 3, 6 pair at the top, which means that that is not a 6. And that's a 3, so that's a 3, and that's a 6. And this is on a bridge. Oh, but that could go with 2. Maybe it has to go. Yeah, it has to go with 2, doesn't it? Because it either goes with 2, 6, or 7, and 6 and 7 are impossible, so it goes with 2, which means that is not a 2, that is not a 2. Where is 2 in green? There is the answer. That is not a 2, that is not a 2. 2 here, well, 2's got a lot of options, one of which is 8, which won't work. 3 won't work. So this is a doubling or a halving, and it can't be a doubling because that would be 4, so it's a halving, which must be a 1. Good grief. Okay. Where does 1 go in purple? It's got to go there. Where does 1 go in grey on this side of the grid? It goes there. How many 1s have we got? Lots. Can we get the last ones? We have got to put a 1. I've got to put a 1 in orange, actually. It's got to go there, I think. Is that all of them now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I've not put the 1 in the bottom row. I think it might go there. That feels correct, but hopefully it is. Now, what else do we get from that? We got a 2 here, which means this is an 8. So that's a 9 and that's a 2. Maybe this column where we need 4, 5 and 7. Yes, that's a naked single. That's a 5, that's a 4. This row maybe 2 and 8 we need. That's got to be 8, that's got to be 2. So these 2 squares are 6 and 9. Bother. I don't think we know how that resolves. Okay, well let's try this column then. 5, 6, 8. Again, I think I've picked the wrong column there to focus on. It doesn't seem to want to do it. We could try 5, 7, 8, 9 in this column. 5, 7, 8, 9. That's not 8. That's not 9. That's not 5. No, we're not getting any. That's not 9 either. This is a 6, 9 pair. Uh, 2, 5, 7, 8. What about... Maybe, oh, actually, look, we have got a lot of going on in green. I hadn't seen this 6 is resolving that. So that's something. These squares are a 7, 9 pair, and the 9 here is useful. So that's 9, that's 7. That does the 7 and the 2, look. That knocks 7 out of this square. We get left with a 5, 8 pair there. And what about 2, 6 and 8 here? Still don't think it's quite resolved. 2, 6, 8 triple in column 5, so that's got to be 9, that's got to be 6. Now we've not put in 7 and something in column 1. Sorry, this column is the one I'm looking at. Column 1 is not the most accurate description of that. So that's 7, that's 9, that's 7, that's 2, that's 8, that's 9, that's 2. That seems to have got things going a bit. That's 8, that's 6, that's 2, that's 5, that's 8, that's 5. Okay, this is now 9 by Sudoku. That's 7 and that's 8 in the corner. And in this row we've not put 7 in, so let's do that. In red we've not put in 3, 4 or 6, so that's 3. That should be doable. That's 6, that's 4. And in this column we've not put in a something. I want to say a 6 maybe. And that might be the puzzle solved. Good grief. We have been on a journey with... Oh, yes. That was hard. That was really hard. Wow. It's a brilliant puzzle though, isn't it? It is a brilliant puzzle. I love the idea of awarding numbers to kingdoms depending on how powerful they are. But I did find that difficult. Obviously, hopefully you perceived that. To prove it uniquely, I really struggled, especially at the beginning. Do I think there was another way of starting it? It's not impossible. It's really not. I don't know. I'm going to be intrigued about the comments on this one and how people got on with it. And especially, I suppose, if you did it quickly, how rigorous were you at the start? How rigorously did you rule out other possibilities for the least powerful kingdom? I shouldn't have made the least powerful kingdom Mordor, should I? What else could we have in here? Edoras? Well, Rohan. Rohan would be more exact, wouldn't it? Rohan, which probably only has Edoras. So this can be Rohan, and that's Edoras. This is the Shire. This can be, I don't know, it's got a lot of castles in it. Anyway, we traversed Middle Earth in the end. It took me a while. Loved the puzzle, Marty, as usual. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.